Hi, welcome to the Rant. Indiana's, what would we going to call the Rant?
I don't know. It's just a rainy day rant today.
Yeah. So it's a balmy, 50-some degrees here in Carmel, Indiana. We're at Bar Louie's.
We are at Bar Louie's. That's the best part of the day,
actually.
That
is. Yeah. Is it too? It's got to be 5:30 somewhere, right?
I don't know. If it is, I'm late.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been late all day. Hey, so Dave's got something he wants to rant about. What do you want to?
Well, actually, I don't know if I want to rant. I just want to talk a little bit about perceptions of business and how you sell things. And specifically, we had somebody just on a few minutes ago, Scott from Monavi. And this perception out there, multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
It's interesting because
the negative perception.
The negative perception. Yeah. You and I are both involved with the organization called iLearning Global. And I'm looking right now working with Nikki on Agile as possibly taking that on. And so I was doing some research last night on the internet and looking at all the people that go out there and want to talk about stuff. In a lot of cases, just really want to pour cold water on any idea. And there's a couple of things that hit me as I was looking at that. And one is there's no free ride. And I think as you look at these different opportunities that are there, everything it does, you have to do some work. So there's nobody sitting there and doing nothing. But at the same time, I really think for those of you in network marketing, it is the wave of the future. It's the wave.
Well, I think the problem goes back 3 generations. And I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but I'm just going to say it because
it's a rant, man.
This is what we do. My dad went to work as an engineer at a factory where the average factory worker made more money than he did. Okay, and I'm not sure that is economically fair for somebody who's went to school for 6-7 years to make the same amount of money of someone that just grew up in the right neighborhood and was friends with the right family. And so what you had 2 generations there that the work and the skill that they provided weren't necessarily equal. And so because you had a high school educated kid that could go out and get a job making between $60,000 and $100,000 a year comparatively these days. And they think that they've earned the right to do that. And so then you've got the kid of that parent that now thinks that they have the right to go just because they went to college to make 50 or 60. And the truth about our economy, when you compare it globally, is it is a pay for performance world.
Right.
And people don't care how much time you gave; they want to know the results that happened. And the one thing that MLMs do is they pay for performance.
Right.
I think now I will tell you that I think that they've got a lot of their negative connotation, honestly, because there were a lot of people involved in it that couldn't sell, don't know how to sell, overpromised and underdelivered, right, and set unfair expectations for the people that they got involved with.
Yeah, and exactly. There are no good get-rich-quick schemes. Those things, if it's too good to be true, it is. But the reality of the situation is, and here's what I've come up with in terms of how to evaluate whether a network marketing solution is good for you. First of all, are you comfortable talking to people that you know about something that you're passionate about? And if you can answer that question yes, then that's probably a good step. The next thing is the product that you want to sell something you're passionate about and something you use. And if you answer that question yes, then that's probably the biggie, because the challenge really becomes either people who aren't good at going out and talking about what their passion is, and not everybody is, and that's a challenge, or people who try to grab a product just because they think they can make some money at it.
Yeah.
The reality is we look at iLearning Global. I mean, both of us are in it, and the reason for that is that both of us are pretty committed to the concept of continuous learning. If we weren't, then it wouldn't be a good fit. The same thing is true as you look at some of these other products that are out there. I think it's really important to do that. But I think the bottom line is that when you have those 2 things come together, you can then really start to make a nice, decent living by just going out without putting all sorts of pressure on people, and just offering them the same opportunity that's been offered to you.
Well, I look for 3 things, and just to reiterate what you say, I look for passion, I look for profit, and I look for pain. Can I get passionate about this, and is it sustainable? You know, when iLearning came along, I was spending $300 a month at Barnes and Nobles. I just moved over $100 and gave it to them, and now I make a residual where I used to have an expense. You know, if I could get all of our members to do one thing, and that was to listen to one book on tape every month. If they would just commit all their automobile time to books on tape, they would have the equivalent in 3.5 years to a doctorate. And I think that is crazy that they don't do that. Get rid of your radio station or your Bob and Tom. I had to do it. I gave up. I love Bob and Tom, but I moved away from it. And in that, I've been able to read like 220 books. Listen to 220 books in the last 5 years. And I think you got to understand the power of that. It has to serve a pain. You got to figure out what the heck it's, you know, if people are sick and you can make them better, then that's a pain. You know,
right.
if somebody's learning how to be an entrepreneur, or learning how to market, or learning how to sell, or learning how to network, and if you can help them do that, that's a pain you're solving.
Absolutely.
You know, and then you know, is the product there? You know, it's like, do we have the best solution, the better mousetrap for what we're trying to do? And if you can do all those three P's, then you should get over whatever negative connotation that somebody gives you a label of because you're in a certain business model.
Well, and I think the reality there is that you have to look at it for yourself, and you have to say, you know what, I understand, I've done my due diligence, and thanks for your input, but I'm choosing to move forward. Because, you know, again, as we were looking at it, I was talking to my wife last night about it, and you know, the thing that we said is, you know, we've been sitting and lamenting as a small business owner, how do we pay for retirement? How do we pay for the daughter's college? How do we do all those things? And, you know, the reality is you find a solution and you go out and do it. You can't sit there and wish it to drop out of the heavens, because it doesn't happen.
Yep.
You have to take a step and move forward. You don't want to do that blindly, but at the same time, if you find one of these opportunities, they meet the criteria that makes sense for you, the things that we've talked about, jump on it and run, because it could be one of the best moves that you can make in your life. So that's what I wanted to rant about today.
Yeah, you've been ranted.